Hello and welcome. My name is Katie Chemnitz. I am the creator of Roadmap to Ron, which is an A to Z course on how to build your notary business. And I am answering a very common question, and that is, if you are in a different state, can you still do remote online notarizations? And for the most part, I'm going to say no. Your statutes are going to be the one that will be able to actually outline this. So I'm not a lawyer and I can't advise you. But what I'm going to go over is what is the general understanding. I always want you to do your own research. There, I covered all my bases, I think. So, okay, in general, you have to be within your commission state to be able to do remote online notarizations. So if you are like, okay, for me, for example, if I am in Florida, I can do remote online notarizations because I am commissioned in Florida. If I am in Chicago for a week, I cannot do those remote online notarizations because I'm not in my commission state. So that is in my state guidelines or my state statutes outlining that I can't do that. So one of the ways around that, because I do know that people occasionally like to travel, is that I work with a team. So I have a team of different notaries that I work with for when I have to travel or, for whatever reason, I'm just living my normal life and I can't do the notarizations. I work very, very closely with a team of different notaries that I have vetted, I trust, we work together well. And then the other thing is that you have to also talk about I think communication makes for better business relationships. So you would have to talk about, what commission split that looks like, specific platforms and everything like that. Now that's under the assumption that you're getting direct work from different title companies and law firms for when you are outsourcing. If you are working with signing services, typically you're just going to have to let them know that you can't do it, but recommend a fellow notary. So that is basically the gist of it. There are specific states that do have some caveats, specifically Virginia. So if you are in Virginia, check out your state guidelines. But in general, you have to be within your specific state. Now, I hate this subject, because I do sometimes get the question of, can I just do a VPN? No, you can't just do a VPN, because if your notarization ever gets called into question, I would hate for you to get in trouble, but then also the validity of the notarization to be called into question. So in general, that's not something that I feel comfortable with. I like to be able to sleep at night, so I do not recommend, and I won't work with someone if they ever say that they use a VPN for these types of notarizations. I will tell you that the platforms sometimes don't work if you are using a VPN, and then there's also state guidelines that sometimes state not to use a VPN. So I think that to make your life easier and to make sure that you are working with integrity, I just don't pay attention to anyone that says anything about a VPN. Don't do it. We're a trust-based business. We're built on integrity. So it's just not a good idea. You're gonna have to offload the work or figure out something else. So it's just not a good idea. Anyway, so that is a subject that I don't really like talking about, because it is one of the I don't know. It's just not good business. So in general, if you're not in your commission state, work with a different team or someone else. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out. If you are looking to partner with other remote online notaries, you can always reach out to me at katie@notaryswfl.com or in my Facebook group. You can go ahead and post that you are looking for other partners to work with. And I'm sure that there are going to be plenty of really, really good notaries in there that would be more than happy to talk to you about working together and what that would look like. I will tell you that it's important to figure out who you're working with beforehand. You want to lay that foundation and that groundwork before, because I've worked with a lot of different notaries, and so sometimes I have really good experiences with different notaries, and sometimes I have not so good experiences with different notaries. So you want to explore working together before you're actually on vacation. So, you know, start laying that groundwork now, because even if you aren't busy and to the point where you're going to offload work, emergencies come up. You might have to go somewhere for a funeral in a different state, or you know, you eventually want to go travel. I do think that it's worth a conversation with a couple different notaries, just so that way you can see who you basically vibe with and who you want to work with. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. If there's any specific subjects that you want me to talk about or you have questions about, leave it in the comments below. And then also subscribe and send this to someone that you might think is helpful. Thank you.